Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Tin Man's Court Channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and today I'm reacting to my third and final Spooky Vibes video for you guys, and this was titled 3 Scary eBay Horror Stories. So without further ado, I'm going to turn these lights off, move the camera up here for you guys, and let's get this reaction on the road in the bag, shall we? Okay, here we go.
Before I start this story, this is my warning to you. Be very careful when it comes to selling things on the internet, especially on eBay. And here's why. I make a full-time living off of reselling on eBay. I primarily go to yard sales, estate sales, and thrift stores to buy stuff cheap and to sell it for higher.
Right.
I'm considered a top-rated seller, and I try my best to take care of all my customers. Well, back in 2022, I sold an Xbox One to a guy by the eBay username of Mr. Yoshi. Mr. Yoshi sent me a message on eBay saying that when he received the Xbox, it came damaged, that it doesn't work, and that he demands a refund. Now, sometimes when I encounter these situations, I assume the person could be a scammer, but I always give the benefit of the doubt. I told Mr. Yoshi that I'm sorry that it came damaged, and that I would gladly refund him if he could just send me pictures of the broken Xbox. He responded with very nasty and threatening messages. He said that he does not need to send any pictures, and that he should be believed, and that I need to send his money back to him right now, or he will, and I quote, slice my throat until all my tendons fall out.
Okay, that's a little too harsh of a comment, dude. He's just asking you to send pictures just to prove that the Xbox is damaged. But he is right. It does sound like he's a scammer trying to get his money back even though the thing ain't broken. Or he's probably one of them guys that would buy something, break it, and try to tell the seller that it came broke. This is why I don't buy things to sell on eBay, because I don't want to deal with all this hassle. But if he doesn't want to send you pictures, then I will be reporting him to police, since he said that he will cut his tendons out.
That if he thinks that I'm kidding, my address was on the shipping label. And that's when I reported him to eBay and told him that I would not be subject to this type of harassment. eBay sided with me and suspended his account, and I did not need to give him a refund. Now here's the part of the story that I hate telling. I want to say it was about 2 weeks after the Mr. Yoshi incident, when I had to leave for the weekend to help with some relatives move into their new place. When I got back that Sunday evening, I walked into my house and saw that everything was destroyed. My TV was shattered, my bookshelves were thrown down, my couches and sofas were sliced open, and fluff was everywhere. I'm a single man living alone, so I have no children, but I did have my dog, Gizmo, who lived with me. I actually tear up telling this part, but I found my dog Gizmo gutted and dead on my kitchen floor. Next to his body was the Xbox that I sent to Mr. Yoshi with the shipping label taped to it. I called the police and explained that it had to be this guy, Mr. Yoshi. The police were able to link the address on the shipping label with a license plate, and they actually were able to catch the guy in a motel about an hour away from my house. This Mr. Yoshi guy lived in Nevada. I live in New Jersey. This guy literally drove across the country to do what he did. And when the police found him, he admitted that what he did to my dog was what he wanted to do to me, but I was not home. That piece of shit is now serving 5 years in prison for breaking and entering, destruction of property, and killing my dog. I now have a P.O. box and have that on all of my shipping labels, just so I never have to go through something like this again. Use my story as a warning for anyone else selling online out there. Always use a P.O. box and never underestimate the length that people will go, especially if they're unhinged. I miss you, Gizmo. You did not deserve this. Be safe, everyone.
Oh man, that is messed up. I'm glad he was able to report the incident to the eBay security team, and they were able to block his account, but I would have called the police or FBI right then and there, so they would have tracked him down and arrested him right there in Nevada. But nope, that dude literally drove from Nevada to New Jersey just to go find him and destroy his property inside his house and kill his dog. That's so not cool. I'm glad that guy is serving life in prison. But man, I would have told the judge to give him the death penalty for killing a dog. That guy clearly is one messed up human being. If you're selling stuff on eBay, don't use their personal address. If you have a P.O. box, use that. But if you don't have a P.O. box, I recommend signing up for one, because you do not want no psychos like this guy finding out where you live. But may this guy's dog Gizmo rest in peace. And let's get to story number 2, shall we?
For my own safety, I'm going to have to remain anonymous for this story, but it needs to be told as a warning for everyone who hears it. Back in 2021, me and my girlfriend were both living in an apartment. We had a pretty shitty landlord. Whenever something went wrong with the place, we would send an email to them, but we never got a response. Well, one major issue we were having was our kitchen light. It would never turn on, and when it did, it would always flicker. I had bought countless new bulbs at Walmart and Home Depot, but nothing ever seemed to work to fix the problem. So one day, I decided that I would go onto eBay and order a new bulb there. I did a lot of research on a good bulb, and one that was reliable. When I finally found a price and a seller that seemed to be reputable from all the reviews and feedback, I made the decision and ordered from a seller by the name of Body Bulbs. A week later, my package arrived. Excited that we finally had light bulbs that were going to work, I tore into the box to get started. But here's where things went extremely wrong.
What?
When I opened the ordinary shipping box on my kitchen table, inside of it were not light bulbs. I pulled out what I thought were little sticks wrapped in bubble wrap, and I was immediately pissed that I was sent the wrong item and unwrapped the bubble wrap to see exactly what I was sent. When I ripped off the last layer of bubble wrap, 10 frozen fingers spilled out onto my table. At first I thought they were prop fingers or something like that, but then I saw that some had rings on them and tendons hanging out of the severed parts.
Oh, heck no. I would not only be pissed because I spent money on light bulbs and the guy sent me daggum fingers, but then if I found out that they were real human fingers, that tells you that you were just dealing with a murderer. Man, I'll be calling the cops right then and there and give them that return address just so they could go find that piece of garbage of a human being that did that and have him arrested and make sure I get my money back, that's for sure. But anyway, let's continue.
I actually threw up for a good 15 minutes straight. When I was able to gain my strength back, I returned to the table and could indeed confirm that I had been sent 10 severed fingers. And here's the messed up part. Every finger was a different color, like they had belonged to 10 different people. We had to get law enforcement involved. And here's what they found out and told us. The seller that we bought from, Body Bulbs, was a front for what they were really selling. Apparently this seller was involved in trafficking of human body parts. And when I ordered the bulbs, I was accidentally sent a package of human fingers that was not meant for me. Our case actually got so high up that the FBI got involved. In fact, writing this to you now, we had to move out of our apartment and into a new home under a new name. Pretty much, we are in the witness protection program. And I can't tell if this part is related or not, but I would get strange text messages from bizarre numbers. Like, the text would be all symbols and letters. It doesn't happen often, but I wonder if it's the organization that's really selling the human parts trying to find me.
I wouldn't doubt it. They realize they messed up and now they're trying to find you because you called the cops and FBI on their whole sting operation. Now they're trying to find you just so they can get rid of you, basically.
And, by the way, this case is still open. No one has been caught or arrested. The eBay store has been shut down, but I'm sure they just opened up another one using a different name. Just be careful out there when ordering stuff online. I've come to realize that this world is a much darker place than most people think. Thanks for listening.
You got that right, because you never know if you type in your credit or debit card information on eBay, somebody might use it and try to take all your money from you. But also, it's sickening to think that there's actually criminals out there that are using eBay as a front to sell particular home items or any other thing you would buy. But then you're really getting packages with human body parts. And I'm like, that is just gross. I'm surprised that when these packages go through the eBay warehouses that workers don't smell nothing like rotten corpse flesh, because then they would have stopped it from going out to where it needed to go, and they would have caught the SOBs by now and shut down this whole human trafficking of parts ring.
This story does not need an introduction, so I'm just going to get right into it. Back in 2019, it was my son Mason's 10th birthday that June. He's a good kid and was doing very well in school. Because he was doing so well, I told him that for his birthday, I would buy him a PlayStation 4. Now, I'm a bit ashamed to admit this, but I did not have the money to buy him a brand new one from Best Buy. My wife and I divorced, and I have sole custody of Mason, and I'm pretty much a single dad. Anyway, since I did not have the money for a new PS4, I decided to go onto eBay and buy him a used one. I honestly found a pretty good deal. It was a PS4 with 2 controllers, 5 games, and all the cords for like $150, which to me was a very reasonable deal. Fast forward to when we finally received the PlayStation in the mail. My son was so happy that it was honestly one of the proudest moments seeing my son that excited.
Oh yeah, I would agree. You're a single dad and your son is just probably like sad that they had to go through this whole process of seeing his mom getting divorced from his dad, and he gets sole custody of him. It'll be a hassle and a scary time for a kid. But when you see him light up from getting a present, it's always rewarding afterwards. But I don't know why, I'm already getting a funny feeling that like the seller probably gave him a messed up PS4, or it has some incriminating evidence in the hard drive of it.
But since I'm writing the story to your channel, you know that things do not stay happy. After a week of having the PlayStation, Mason came into my room late one night. He looked really upset and said that he needed to show me something. His room was where we put the PlayStation, and I followed him there, concerned that it was broken or had issues already. When we got into Mason's room, the PlayStation seemed fine, but that was not the issue. Mason pointed to what was on the TV. I'll be as PG as I can, but pulled up on Mason's TV were images that I at first thought were for some grisly horror movie. There was a man in some pig mask, standing over a body that was clearly opened up and dissected. I asked him what he was watching. Mason said that he wasn't watching anything. There were photos that were already on the PlayStation. And he said that it wasn't the only one. He took the PlayStation controller and started to scroll through dozens and dozens of the same man wearing a pig mask, standing over horrifying images of dead bodies. I took the controller from him and turned off the PS4. I asked him again what the photos were. He said that whoever owned the PS4 before this never cleared their information off of it. These photos were left behind. Not wanting to upset my son that he had potentially just seen dozens of grisly dead bodies, I told him that I'm taking the PlayStation away until I figure out what the photos were. I contacted the eBay seller who had sent the PlayStation about the photos. He said the PlayStation wasn't his. He had bought it at a thrift store and simply resold it to me. He even showed me the receipts of his purchase and everything. But the hardest part about this is, I'm having trouble deciphering whether these photos are real or not. Like, I'm pretty good at telling whether something is a special effect or fake. But when I tell you I've never seen anything this gruesome or realistic in my life, I am not exaggerating. I've since deleted the pictures, and now I'm wondering if that was a mistake. I feel like the right thing would have been to show them to the police. And my biggest fear in all of this is that I deleted evidence of a murderous psychopath. And I have a gut feeling that I did.
Okay, I'm glad that he contacted the eBay seller and he was being honest about him picking it up at a thrift store and reselling it, and showed him the pictures of the receipt. But if you're an eBay seller, you should have just turned it on just to check to make sure nobody's personal stuff was on there still. And it's up to the seller to report it to the police if it had something to do with what he just described. And the fact that the dad just deleted all of them pictures is really crazy. I mean, he could have just took that to the cops and showed it to them, but tell them it wasn't the eBay seller's fault. He didn't know it was on there. But then they probably wouldn't be able to figure out whose it was to begin with if the seller said he picked it up at a thrift shop, so that they wouldn't be able to figure out who donated unless the thrift shop has security cameras. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those post notifications for more spooky vibes content like this. This has been another successful installment of the Tin Man Score channel. I'm your host, Jeffrey Tin Man Taylor, and I said that's a wrap, and have a nice day, y'all.